All right, Island Hoppers, today we are coming to you from the Rose City, Portland, Oregon. Let's do it. Just some background on this Portland travel guide. We arrived on an Amtrak at about 2:50 in the afternoon from Sacramento. That trip usually takes about 13 to 14 hours, but we did have some delays along the track. Here is a look at the downtown hotel. This here is a Hilton. With tax included, the room came out to around about $155 per night. Portland is Oregon's largest city with a population of just over 600,000 people in the actual city, but the metro area has 2.3 million people if you include the area north of Portland called Vancouver. Now also it sits on the Willamette and the Columbia rivers at the shadows of Mount Hood, a very large snow-capped mountain. Portland is the city where young people come to retire. Yes, I said that correctly. Young people come to Portland to retire. So here we are on the waterfront at the Willamette River. Right behind me you can see several bridges and even a marina right over here. One great way to get around this town is on these bird and lime scooters. They have different companies around here, but it sure makes walking up these hills a lot easier. Here we are at Portland State University right here. What I was going to say about being a young person's town, it's also led to Portland being one of the loudest counterculture voices in all of the country, even replacing San Francisco just behind Seattle. So the young people have a lot to say about what's going on in our country, and they use the city of Portland as one of their launch pads to do so. Now, as you know, Portland is because it's a port land off the rivers, right? So that's where it gets the name Portland. But in 1842, it almost got named Boston, Oregon. So it was a coin flip away from being called Boston, Oregon. But as you know it today, it's Portland, Oregon, and we have another Portland that's famous in the United States in Maine. But this one here, Oregon. And if you guys enjoy reading books, come on out here to Powell Books in the Pearl District. Let's go ahead and take a look. Man, that Powell's Books is one big building filled with books. You look all the way down here, going that way, big building, upper levels. So if you guys like a wide variety of a collection of literature, go in here to Powell's Books. You know, in talking with the locals, they said that they feel more free here, like there's more liberty and freedom in Portland. From my experience, that could be true, but I do feel like in Portland, you're very much walking on eggshells if you do break any of their rules. So the rules that they do have, they're very, very strict, even more so than other places. For example, the mask law. Here it is this summer. Most cities around the United States have relaxed that. Here in Portland, the strictest I've seen anywhere else in the country this summer in 2021. So, and when I say that, it's very strict, as in definitely do not let the mask go below the nose. Lots of rules related to that. Must have they're so serious about it. When you walk into the establishment, first thing they say to you is put the mask on. It's not, hey, good morning, how are you? It's put the mask on. They're very strict about the rules that they do have. So yes, I've heard some positive things about the rules, but the rules that they do have, they enforce them very fervently. So up on top of the hill here, we have a park called Washington Park. They have a Japanese garden up here and several other park areas that you can walk around up on this hilltop that overlooks Portland. This here is to commemorate the city of Portland. It's a seal to commemorate Meriwether Lewis and William Clark, also known as Lewis and Clark. Now that you guys know a little bit about Lewis and Clark, let's tell you about the only woman who was on that actual expedition. Her name was Sacagawea. This here monument was erected in dedication to her because she was so important to helping Lewis and Clark actually settle Old Oregon in this Pacific Northwest area. Now, when you come to Washington Park, you can see there's so much that you can actually do here. There's the Rose Garden, Japanese Garden, Hoyt Arboretum, World Forestry Center, the Oregon Zoo, Children's Museum, and the Holocaust Memorial. Now where we're going now is the trail to the Rose Garden. All right, so now we're on 23rd Avenue and Gleason. We're gonna walk around here. They got some restaurants and some taverns. We're gonna go down to 21st, show you guys that area. Let's begin. Beer, burger. This one's actually called the Dungeon Burger. You know, people who are visiting Portland, they want to know, are the people friendly? And this is what I have to say about that. Yes, people are friendly, but it depends on the weather. When it's dark, dreary, middle of February, people probably aren't going to be as friendly as they are in the middle of June when it's beautiful weather out like this. If you guys are looking for some handmade ice cream, I recommend going to the Salt and Straw. Maybe a 7-minute wait right now. We're gonna keep on moving, but if you guys like ice cream, right here, Salt and Straw. So this whole area, 21st Ave all the way to 23rd Ave, both really cool walking streets with restaurants. When you guys come out here, check out both of them. There's gonna be variations in what you can do up and down both streets, but it's known as the Alphabet District. Or more simply, the Northwest Side. So here's something that you might find interesting. Nike headquarters is here in Portland. The founder, Phil Knight, he actually started Nike right out of this area in northwestern Oregon. And you can see all around here, Nike logos. University of Oregon has that down in Eugene, Oregon State in Beaverton. So that's why you see so much Nike out here in Portland. This is where their world headquarters is. Did you know Portland lies on the Cascadia Fault Range? That's a fault zone with highly seismic activity. In fact, two major volcanoes are located within close proximity to Portland. Mount Hood and the world famous Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens is just north in Washington and Mount Hood is just southeast of here. So, just saying. So this is a fluffy bunch of goodness. My Captain O Captain with some Captain Crunch on it. And then this one here is called a Memphis something, I forgot. Came to get a little chorizo taco before we go. Man, let me say this. Pepino's Mexican Grill on 23rd. Some really good food. I had chorizo, my friend had the carne asada bowl. Ooh, man, everything about it. Just trust me. So having visited Portland, before I arrived, I felt as though I was a little bit weary about what to expect when I get here. Is there going to be protests? Is there going to be like a war type atmosphere? And from my experience, no, I have not felt as though I was in a war zone at any given time. The damage done by any sort of protest was nothing like what I thought. I mean, if I saw it on the news, I thought Portland was burning down to the ground and many buildings were destroyed. That may have happened, but you don't see that damage anywhere around downtown or across the city. So the wartime idea, probably overhyped by the media, to be honest. Here we are on 12th Avenue in Overton. This is the Pearl District. Down here, you're not gonna find any hotels or any bars, but what you do find down here, if you look over here, lots of different condominiums and apartments, high rises. This is more of a living kind of area out here in the Pearl District. So we're gonna ride this here streetcar. It's $2 for an adult for 2 hours. If you wanted to do longer, you know, it's $2.5, but here we go. Basically $2 for 2 hours per person. Yeah, so if you look at the map here, you can see, go across the river and around. All on the tram. They even have an aerial train. Oh, that was pretty good actually. A little bit slow, lots of stops along the way, but good way to get around. All right guys, where we're at now is Mississippi Avenue in the Mississippi District. We're gonna go walk up and down this Mississippi Avenue, show you guys what it looks like. You guys like beer? Here's the Stormbreaker Brewery. In case you haven't noticed by now, one of the most popular things to do in Portland is drink beer or your favorite alcoholic beverage on a patio at one of these many bars, breweries, restaurants. But guess what? Portland's actually the #1 place in the country for strip clubs per capita. As you go around Portland, you'll discover these fountains. They're running. They're called bubbling fountains by a man by the name of Benson. Now, there's two theories as to why he actually created these and gave them away. He gave up to $10,000 worth of these bubbling fountains, and the two theories are, one, because he figured that by creating these bubbling fountains, people would drink less alcohol. Number two was, he said he saw women crying around the city because they couldn't find any water. So there's two reasons why you see bubbling fountains all over Portland. All right, Island Hoppers, thanks for watching this episode from Portland, Oregon. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Watch some more of these other travel guides from across the United States and even Seattle.